nice.
Lovely Delia Smith, always a nice story. Now, Sister Wendy, as well as being passionate about art, of course, you're also passionate about poetry, so you're going to enjoy this next film.
Yeah, Giles Brandreth has found out how Wales's most famous and notorious poet played a very surprising role during World War II.
Born in Swansea in 1914, the poet Dylan Thomas was a true wordsmith. His greatest works include Fernhill and Undermilk Wood, but he was also famous for something else. The Dylan Thomas legend is steeped in drink. It's said that it was in this very watering hole that he first met his wife-to-be, Caitlin, and proposed to her on the spot. But contrary to popular belief, he wasn't just a free-living drunkard. When the Second World War broke out, Thomas, by now an established writer, was declared unfit for military service. As his friends got called up to fight, he drank heavily and fell into depression.
So what did the hard-drinking, rebellious poet do to help with the war effort? Well, what else? He volunteered to make films for the government's Ministry of Information.
In this machine shop, we are making guns for tanks.
Public information films were designed to keep spirits up and advise on wartime life. Thomas, the unlikely propagandist, threw himself into scriptwriting, voiceovers, even directing.
So why did he make these films?
Well, he needed to do something. He was broke, basically. He was living down in South Wales, and all his friends were going off to the war, and he felt he wanted to contribute in some way.
And did he approach it in a professional way?
He was always professional in his work.
But he was a drinker too, was he?
Yes. You know, once he got to Soho, you know, he took full opportunities there, and in fact, his period in Soho was one of his most boisterous and sort of anarchic and promiscuous years.
Thomas's deft use of language brought art to these films, no more so than in this powerful condemnation of Hitler and his henchmen.
In the tank-churned black slime of Tunisia, we are the makers, the workers, the starving, the slaves. In Greece and China and Poland, digging our own graves.
The language is really quite poetic. You can tell that this is a poet writing this, can't you?
That is absolutely the case.
Shout, shout, shout out their name.
This is actual Nazi propaganda footage, which is designed to make the Germans feel hugely impressed by the power and the might of Hitler.
I was born of poor parents. I grew into a discontented and neurotic child. My lungs were bad. My mother spoiled me and secured my exemption from military service.
What Dylan Thomas is doing here is taking the German propaganda and adding his subvertive satirical text.
Absolutely, yeah. And you get footage of Hitler and his right-hand men, and Dylan putting words in their mouths to incriminate them.
Unemployed, Jew-hating, frustrated and bitter, I join the Nazi party.
You know, to use Nazi propaganda